Mic check 1 2. What's going on, guys? Doc Zeno, Keygen, Anthony, Honey Horse, what's up? I'm a professional. JM, what's going on? Musky Doge. We're gonna watch some elections results coming in. Just to be fair, I've got Fox and CNN because I know maybe there's a impartial website, but I don't know what it would be. We'll just flip back and forth, and so half of you have to be mad half the time. Excuse me while I pour my first little sippy sip. Sorry for being a couple minutes late. I was just finishing up the Highcroft video. It is done, but I didn't have time to upload it. So I guess, I don't know, depending on how late we go tonight, maybe I'll upload it tonight. If not, it's ready to go in the morning. A walkthrough of the November 1st Q3 earnings for Highcroft and a recap of the highlights in their own words of what you guys need to know about Highcroft. A little follow on to the video from last week and probably part 2 in a 4-part series sharing my deep dive info with you from the last 2-3 weeks of digging, no pun intended, digging into Highcroft. I did vote today, by the way. I don't know. I think I left my sticker in the kitchen. Hopefully you guys voted. Make your voice heard. We got 19 Senate seats in play, 307 House seats in play, and a bunch of governorships as well. Let's see. Governors, how many in play? We'll go through that in a minute. I don't know. It doesn't tell me how many are in play. I don't think it's all of them. I'm a professional says, oh wait, let me read Keygen's first. DRS is going to be impossible for us. The whole community is in a shambles. So we were talking about DRS after our last live. We in our Discord, obviously there's people that are for DRS and people that are not for it because they don't see the point. So we often have discussion, good-spirited, healthy, walk-away friends, discussion about the pros and cons of DRS. I'm neutral on it. I don't really care. You guys do what you want. If you support DRS, I support you. If you don't want to DRS your shares, I support you also. That's your choice. I don't have a position on DRS. But it looks like we have 5 million shares out of 500 million that have been DRS'd. Is that what I read in the documents from Q3? So yeah, we got a long way to go. And basically, I'm keenly watching GameStop. And man, if they were to force a short squeeze in GameStop, I will be evangelizing DRS for AMC from the rooftops. I can guarantee you that. I don't know. Haven't been able to find a lot of other relevant examples where DRS ever forced a short squeeze. And I do have a question. I have a question for any of you guys. This is just an honest question. If you DRS'd the entire float, just theoretically, how could you get a short squeeze? Because they can't short it if it's in DRS. So that's my honest question. And if you say, well, we just want to get it out of the hands of the shorts, we don't want them to be able to short it. Okay, but you realize that theoretically, other than market making activities where they can legally naked short it, you're going to have a 0% short interest. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. That is a good question. I'd love to hear some discussion on. Am I getting into DWAC? Kim says, man, you know, I did not get into DWAC. The time to have gotten into it would have been when it was at 15 or 16 bucks. And I was thinking about it right before we went on vacation to grab a little bit. And then it had that freaking run up on, what was it, Friday? And now, look, did Trump make an announcement yet? I think he's going to make it. What did he say today? I've always said to you guys, DWAC is a play on news, and any good news or threat of good news will send it up, and any bad news or threat of bad news will send it down. A hell of a nice run up here from $15, $16 to 29 bucks, but you need really an announcement from Trump saying he's running. I could definitely see it legging up a lot higher than this. For me right now, the risk is 50-50. I know some people are convinced he's running. And if he does, if you get that announcement, you could definitely see more bullish momentum in DWAC. That's just my guess. But I'm not in the play. Sure wish I would have bought some at 15 or 16 bucks, but I was a little distracted going into the end of last week, getting ready for vacation. Four Horsemen says, here's a stock with a high number of DRS that trades at a high price, DDS. All right, let's take a look. Thank you for that. Arthur says, if we see, these are the follow-on questions, right? If we DRS the whole float, there would still be short interest due to the naked shorting already done. That goes into how much belief do you have in the billions and billions of synthetic shares? And I don't base my channel off of that, Arthur, so I can't really comment on that. Of course, anyone who thinks that that is a slam dunk, despite no evidence, we definitely have tens of billions of fake shares, that is going to be their answer, right? DRS is going to work because we can prove that we, right? I can make the argument for them. We can prove that we locked the float and it's still being shorted. Therefore, there must be billions of synthetics. I get it. Maybe so. That's why I'm watching GameStop really close. I'd love to see that proved out. Would love it. Let me check. Let me just check. Oh man, I don't know how to quickly find the how much of that stock is DRS'd. Who put that up there? Four Horsemen. Can you pull from their latest quarterly earnings the statement that says what percentage of the shares have been DRS'd? Or what number of shares? But yes, for sure. I mean, you get no argument from me on that. If you locked the float and there was still shorting going on, which there would be, because the market makers are still going to naked short it. If you locked the float, you could expose something. No argument for me. The question is, how long is it going to take and what is it going to expose? Is it going to expose that there are billions of synthetics, or that there never were really any other than what Ortex and the lenders who are reporting the short data have been telling us? You know, you guys have heard me say this before. We hate Ortex when it doesn't confirm what we want, but when it confirms what we want on other channels, on other plays, even GameStop way back in the day, when it confirms the percentage that we want, we love Ortex. But if it doesn't confirm it, it's all crime and fake data. I don't think we can pick and choose. We got to either go with the data we have or say none of it is correct. But I hear people loving short interest data from Ortex or other sites when it confirms what they want it to say. What is the downside, Dadrian, to DRS? I don't know if I'm the right person to speak to the downside, Dadrian, because I I say do what you want. For me, I personally have not DRS. That's my own personal choice. That is not advice. And that is only for my fear, whether it's correct fear or incorrect. I'm not going to put that on you. I don't know. I don't want to. I want my shares to be able to be sold at the millisecond and price of my choosing. And DRS has a little bit of process to sell your shares. And I don't know if has millions of investors flooded them all at the same time in a squeeze. You know, their process, has it been tested? You know, what if everyone collapses their system, overloads their internet from trying to sell at the same time? I just don't know. I can't tell you it's good or bad. I can't tell you there would be a delay or not. That is the only reason that I have not, though. I don't want any delays in my process. When I want to sell, I want to be able to sell by punching a button and it's done. BioLife Hemp. Yeah, someone was saying Dillard's DDS is a highly DRS'd stock. So I was asking the gentleman if he can go to their latest earnings and pull up the same sentence that we see in GameStop and AMC. You know, we have X number of shares directly registered with X number of investors, right? We can find that on GameStop and AMC. It's in the quarterly statement. I would assume if you're saying that Dillard's, the gentleman was saying Dillard's is heavily direct registered, they should have a statement like that in their earnings. I have not, for the reasons I just outlaid, Scott, have not DRS'd. But I'm not against it. If you guys want to do it, I say knock yourself out. I support anybody who's positive for DRS. And if you don't want to do it, I'll support you too. I really don't care. But once, you know, if GameStop is proven to be effective in DRS, I will evangelize DRS from the rooftops. At the rate we're going, I mean, it'll be 5 years before AMC's float is DRS'd. GME is on a much shorter schedule. They're far ahead of us. Birdman, I don't know. I'm not the right person to answer that question. Why would anyone? I think Birdman, I'm just guessing because, again, I'm not advocating for one side or the other, but I think that the arguments I've seen made is if you DRS the entire float, then you have proof to take to somebody, the CEO, the government, and say, look, we own all the float. How can this still be shorted? BioLife Hemp says, with legal rehypothecation, ding, 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 we know there is more than 516 million shares. That is what I agree with you 100%. I think, you know, more than shorting, rehypothecation is the problem for these stocks. And if you're not familiar with that, guys, we've talked about this many times. I actually think the short interest is probably pretty close to correct. But rehypothecation, where one broker sells your shares to another broker, and now you and this other guy both think you own the stock because this broker loaned it to someone else. You both think you have a share. It's not shorted. Or maybe a short borrowed it and then sold it. You know, that's still rehypothecation. Rehypothecation, the multiplication of shares with no limit, is definitely a way to increase the float with no real tracking that I know of. And that could become a very interesting game of musical chairs. And if there was a run up or a short squeeze, and everybody's trying to sell. Now you got all these brokers trying to scramble to recall their rehypothecated share. Hey, we need that. Do you know that one good share we sold you? We need it back because our client wants to sell. No, my client's trying to sell. He can't have it back. Rehypothecation gets me excited. Anthony, there's a lot of comments coming in here, and since you're being rude, you're going to be removed from the chat. If you guys are, if I miss your comments, you can see there's a lot of comments coming in. Be polite, be nice to me, be nice to each other. You can ask whatever you'd like. If you're going to be rude, you can just fuck right off. I don't give two shits. Proud Ma says, how does a check mark go to someone with 6% vote in? Statistics. But it is a little bit of predictive statistics. So they think they're going to be right. 6% seems a little bit early. Sub has the boss. Good evening to you. Let's see how AMC and Ape ended up in the after hours. Yeah, pretty flat. I mean, we've seen far worse after earnings. I honestly think that, you know, this rundown that we had in the last week was the pre-earnings jitters. People like, no, I don't want to. Institutions or people like, I don't want to hold this shit into earnings because what if it's bad news? So they all paper handed out. And so you didn't see a lot of reaction. I mean, those of us that are still holding AMC and Ape, and I have more Ape than I do AMC because I've only been buying Ape since August 22nd as new shares. So damn cheap. Those of us that are holding kind of, you know, we knew, most of us anyways, with common sense, knew that this was going to be a not spectacular quarter and wait till Q4. So I'm actually happy that it didn't run down in after hours, but not surprising. I think most people that are still in this play at this point kind of knew that. John's Day Trade says, what's the difference between that and a bank loan and at our $100 cash deposit 15 times? Same thing. I mean, it is essentially the same thing. Eric Bissell in the house. Tony says the squeeze we all wanted happened in 2021. I heard, Eric, someone was mad that I said that. Tony Denaro said the stock squeeze was over in June of 2021. Well, guys, I mean, it ran from a couple bucks to 72, and now we're back down to the single digit range. So until a new catalyst happens, that was the squeeze. Is there a potential for another one? Yes, I'd like to see much higher short interest, and I'd like to see a real catalyst, and I'd like to see a loaded options chain. These are the things that make it exciting to get a new squeeze going. You guys already know, and the clickbait channels hate me because I don't talk about synthetic shares and yada, 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 SEC regulations. Oh, man, they hate me because I focus on data that I can see. And that's what you guys are here for, and so that's what I'm going to share with you. The good thing about a speculative play is if any of those things happen, SEC regulation, Kenny G gets put in jail, billions of synthetic shares are somehow proven by any means. If any of that happens, hey, I'm in the play with you. That's called speculation, guys. You believe in the long-term prospects of this company, and you got a little extra juice if something funky happens. I'm in it with you. But I'm not going to get up every day losing sleep over the clickbait of the day didn't work. I'm not going to put out 10 videos a day with clickbait titles just to get you to watch. That's not what this channel's about. I get excited about fundamentals. And I think that the movie industry is not going anywhere. AMC's got a lot of debt. Yes, they do. And I'm gonna give them at least a few more quarters to see what happens with a good movie schedule. And I reassess every quarter. And as you guys know, I'm brutally honest with you about my thoughts on stocks and how I'm going to trade them. If my trading plan changes, I will let you know. Just like I'm swing trading GameStop. I have GameStop right now because it's in my buy zone. I have Highcroft right now in case there's some good news. If it runs up again, I'll sell it and wait for it to come back down, depending on the news. If it's news to shoot it up a few bucks, I'll be in the ride with you. But my reading all the Highcroft documentation and listening to Dr. Garrett, they're a multi-year, play. So you got plenty of time to fuck around with Highcroft. Make some money along the way. You'll have chances to buy it cheap. You'll have chances to sell on little retail FOMO run-ups, and then it's going to come back down, just like what happened a month ago. But, we're hoping for some really good core results from Highcroft, and then we'll hear what their plan is of how they're going to access that ore. In the meantime, I've got a small position in it in case some good news comes out. Rishi says, when's the last time a stock was margin called? Well, institutions or individuals are margin called, not a stock. So stocks don't get margin called. I know maybe you're just asking the question the wrong way, and that's cool. But I mean, you could have a stock run way up. You could have AMC run to $1,000 and one institution get margin called. You don't know what their liquidity is like, what their other assets, what their collateral is. I can't tell you what price on any one stock would margin call any one of hundreds of institutions. We always hope those really evil ones will get margin called and fucked right out of existence in a run-up of any play, be it AMC, GameStop, Mullen, GTII, pick your play. Of course, we'd like to see some evil shorters run out of business. But the reality is, for most of these guys, they have thousands and thousands of positions. And unless they were really stupid, like old Gabe Plotkin, and get over leveraged in one play, which they can, one play is not going to get them over a barrel. He went in too much and he paid the price. And I'd like to see that happen to some more of those guys. But I can't give you an answer of how many would be taken out. It depends on how high any one stock goes, what their leverage in it is. Did they have derivatives? Did they have swaps? Were they over their skis betting too much on this one play? Tedros says, what do I think about DRS? Rewind, Tedros, already covered it. I am neutral on DRS. You do what you want. I'm not going to sell it to you, and I'm not going to tell you, don't do it. You do what you think is right. You've had 2 years to hear about DRS. Bill A says, how are rehypothecated and synthetic shares different? I mean, a rehypothecated share is a synthetic share, Bill A. Unfortunately, because that is not reported anywhere, only the DTCC knows how many rehypothecated shares there are. Short interest is reported to the extent that the lenders report it. Yes, it's self-reported by lenders, not shorts. The lenders report the short interest every day to people like Ortex and some other services, and then twice a month the shorts report their information to the SEC. Yes, also self-reported. If they want to violate SEC regulations. Oh, they do that all the time. Yeah, they could. They could be violating SEC regulations and reporting their shorts. But you got two places we're getting short interest info from. The lenders are reporting to Ortex, and then the shorts are reporting to the SEC twice a month. And the SEC bundles all that up, and that's that data we see every 2 weeks or so. That is from the shorts. The daily Ortex info is from the lenders. So why do I think Ortex is probably fairly close to legit? Because we have different entities reporting it, and the data usually matches. And everybody loves Ortex or SEC reports when it matches what they want it to say. It's just right now in AMC, it's not matching what we want it to say. I'd like to see it a lot higher than 20%. John says, I don't remember a lot of option talk between January and June 2021. That week or 10 days of run up prior to early June, and especially those last few days, John, people were buying the shit out of call options on AMC. Eric says, can we shift the focus to SPY calls and puts? There's other channels for that, Eric. The reason I don't cover SPY calls and puts is every day you wake up with the economic and global banking news and Ukraine, I cannot accurately predict with enough reliability for me to cover that on my channel. Not even for me to trade SPY puts and calls. If you want to do that, there's several other channels that are covering that. What I have been watching is all these little retail momentum plays. The CRTD, I think, was one that I traded last week. I'm just trying to make sure. CRTD. I played that one last week. Got out on Friday because I was going on vacation and I didn't want to carry it over the weekend. But it ran up far past where I got out on Friday. But, I tell you guys, don't be afraid to take a first base hit or a second base hit. If you're happy with the profit, a profit's a profit. I could have tripled my money if I would have held to $1.70. But I was going on vacation. I don't want to be babysitting a stock. So you'll have to forgive me on that. Now I'm back, and we'll be looking for the next one. R. Baglio, did I ever average down on Phantom? I still am buying Ethereum on my dollar cost averaging. Haven't done any Phantom purchases recently. Kind of just taking a wait and see attitude on cryptos till I figure out what the fuck the economy is doing. $0.18 on Phantom. But I mean, yes, that is a decent price when crypto recovers. How long do I want to park my money in crypto? I already got a significant amount parked. I know that I can find stock plays that run up 25, 50, 100% in a week in some cases. And it's been, Phantom's not doing that. So I'm allocating my new dollars towards stock plays. I got plenty of Phantom parked for the eventual recovery of crypto. Gary says Adam Aaron was eating during the interview. I know. I was complaining about that, Gary. Sounded like he was smacking on some new flavor of AMC popcorn. Don't eat, Adam. Don't eat on a freaking conference call. Odd Enough says it's hard to hold on and watch. I get it. But I've been telling you guys since November going on a year now that a bear market was coming, and when it happens, that every stock was going to be taken down, and the ones with no profits or high PE ratios, Amazon, Tesla, Meta, when the bad news comes on those, they're going to fucking fall. So as upset as some of you are that AMC is going down, or your favorite stock, whatever it is going down, none of this is a surprise to me. How do I sleep at night? Because I expect everything to go down in a bear market. I don't think that any CEO has a magic short squeeze tomorrow button to overcome the economy and the interest rates and the mass exodus of institutional money from the markets right now. So what do you want me to say? Nothing different than what I've been telling you for the last year. I get it. Everybody else is putting out 20 videos a day saying MOAS tomorrow. The shorts are scared. That's not what we've been saying here for the last year. I've been saying when the market goes down, when interest rates go up, everything, including AMC and GameStop, is going to go down. And unless and if some company-specific catalyst comes along. How am I feeling about AMC today after the earnings call? It's kind of what I expected, Dan. Was not expecting great news. It wasn't horrible news. It was kind of just like, we knew it was going to be not a bigger quarter than the last two. So I'm already looking for Q4 and Q1. It's going to be a long 90-day wait, but we're going to have plenty of good movies to talk about. I'm a Professional says you didn't expect it to go this low. You wouldn't have been buying in the 20s.